Yeah, Garratt, everybody. Unbelievable. Wasn't enough to kick ass at one instrument, you had to do all of them at once. You know you're in Nashville. Yeah, as someone who attempts to play every once in a while, your ability to hit that, play that, sing that at the same time, musical juggling, that was very impressive. And your ability to play the awkwardness was really good. No, thank you for being here. And I know these things are kind of funky, and but I appreciate you 100% giving that effort in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
And I could tell the dancing, you held back just a little bit. And learned a little bit more. But so we'll make this brief and not too terribly awkward. 4 songs, 4 questions. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Is that good? Okay. So obviously we're in a music town. Probably I won't even ask people to raise hands. Everybody here plays instruments. They said you started kind of composing around the age of 12. What was the first instrument? You obviously play a bunch. What was the first one you fell in love with?
Piano. The first one I fell in love with.
Yes.
Guitar.
Guitar.
Yeah.
You started playing piano, but then...
Yeah, I started, the first instrument I was forced into playing was the piano.
Did you have parents who played? They were like, you have to
No,
do
it wasn't so much that. My mum played and my dad played a little bit, but it was more a thing of like, both my mum and dad were so encouraging of music. I was really lucky that I grew up in a house that I was never discouraged from playing a particular instrument or listening to a particular genre of something like that. It was just like, it was always a case of, hey, go and do what you want to do. Music's there for that reason, to be, explored, and some of it is dark and dangerous, but that's all part of it. But then one thing was like, so we'll let you do whatever you want, but you have to learn how to play the piano. It was like, but I hated it at the time. I was about 8, and the issue for me was ever since I was young, my ears have been able to talk to my hands really, really well, and so that's the worst kind of talent to find out you have when you're learning to read music. Because I'd sit there and go, oh, what was that song that I had to learn? And my teacher would just sit there and play the piece of music or play the piece, and I'd just watch her fingers and listen to the notes and then go, oh, okay, and then play it myself and just go. And then she'd come along and
She put the book in front of you?
Yeah, put a book over my hand so that I had to read the music, and that's when I quit. So.
Well, I think you find, I'm sure, when talking to other musicians, that's a pretty common story, is that the folks who write music a lot of times, they don't really like reading music all that much.
Well, the thing is like, I then, when I was older, I picked up the trombone, and like, I knew how to read music. Like, I know how to read, I don't know how to read music anymore. I wish I knew how to read. But what it did more than anything is it gave me an understanding of what my mind was telling my fingers to do. Yeah. My head knew what it wanted, and it knew the words, but I just didn't have the vocabulary to talk about it. And so to be able to go and learn an instrument like the piano, which is so gorgeous and so versatile, and then to learn it via its theory and its technicalities, it was an incredibly fortunate way to be introduced to the world of music creation. Because now whenever I have a song, I dissect it and I analyze it myself, and that's how I fix my problems. Is I now have the tools necessary because of those lessons that I hated.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's the realist who turns into the impressionist. You've got that great base to work from. And that said, so when you go into the studio, is it a primarily recording at home, or whatever it might be these days? That's a fluid term. Do you build it in that way? I mean, what comes first?
You young kids with your crazy computers.
All you do these days, bands. You recorded it all on your phone, didn't you?
Yep. That was it.
That was it.
Did everything. Nothing is real.
Put all of the other, the money from the label in your back pocket. Okay, sorry. I forgot.
What money from the? No.
I forgot. It's 2016.
I taught myself a lot of the things that I can do, again, because my mind was just so strong and was there kind of screaming at me to be like, hey, pick up that thing because we can do that. Yes. And my 14-year-old self is going, no, I don't want to. And then I do it, and 10 years later, kind of thing. And production and like writing and everything was pretty much the same. It was just my head was screaming at me to create things, and it would give me ideas, and I'd always sit there and go, no, I don't. What am I going to do with that? Like, what? And then I realized, oh no, wait, that's what songwriting is. An idea comes to you, and it's up to you whether you decide to be the vessel for it or not. And So I taught myself how to produce and kind of do all those things. So yeah, I recorded a lot of my album in my laptop, but through my head. So all the sounds were already there and they all existed, but it was just a matter of problem solving essentially, and just
Well, do you know the beats though? I mean, or is it really truly song to song? Each song is built in a different way.
Each song is built in a different way. That's why they all sound kind of different. The only thing that ties them all together is the fact that I'm singing them, and usually the lyrical content is not the same, but deals with the similar kinds of images and subjects and words. Not words, but yeah, themes. But the music is always the thing that comes first. The lyrics is always second for me, because that's how my head has always worked. I've always known sound better than I've known speech.
Yeah.
And I kind of think that's why when I do it live, I do it in the way that I do it as well, because it's just my body wants to convulse in those positions and it wants to do those things.
So if you were limited to one instrument, you just did not do this.
If I was limited to one instrument, it would be the guitar, but that's only because I found out what music.
You're really good at it.
Well, no. Thank you. I found out what music was by playing the guitar. I came to understand what it meant to have music and to obtain music. I taught myself to play the guitar because I watched videos of Stevie Ray Vaughan as a kid growing up, and that was it. I was just so.
I didn't want to say that because I'm obviously a lot older than you, but to say I was like, wow, he's got kind of he attacks the guitar in the way that Stevie Ray used to do.
It's kind of interesting. The only. I was thinking about this a couple of days ago because I started to, obviously because of the extremely sad news about David Bowie, I went back and listened to the Let's Dance album, and the whole thing features Stevie Ray Vaughan on guitar. And I remember sitting there listening to every song and just going, oh. The thing that I love about his playing, and this is the thing I've always taken, is that if you gave him he obviously chose to play Strats and chose to play Jaguars at times and would play through a tube screamer and stuff like that, but if you gave him any kind of guitar, his fingers would do all of those things for him. His fingers played like a Strat. His fingers played like a tube screamer. Yeah. And that's the thing that he taught me, essentially, was not to depend on the effects of everything, not to depend on the post, but instead to depend on yourself and be the musician that you think you can be. The only way that you can try and do that is by forcing yourself into a position of unfamiliarity. And so for me it was picking up a guitar, and because I was an acoustic player, and I picked up an electric guitar and went, okay, might as well try and rip through these strings.
Well, it's you should teach a class. We have Belmont University and MTSU here. They learn about music. Some of you probably went there. No, it's an incredibly valuable thing. I remember learning a similar lesson from not Stevie Ray Vaughan, but someone else who pointed out, I said, man, where does that bass player get that great tone? He goes, it's his fingers.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's him and he plays it no matter what he picks up. But you're right, you are the music, it's not the boxes.
Yeah, it's again, it's that ability of being able to channel those thoughts and those ideas and things. It also takes off a lot of the pressure, the pressure that one can put on yourself about having to be the best at your thing. Like, as long as I can be the best of what I do for myself and for me, then I'm happy. And with that comes a new challenge every day, because I want to better myself every day. In music and as a producer and as a creative mind. So it kind of just takes out the element of competition. Music as a competition sucks.
Yes, no.
It doesn't make
sense.
The death
of American Idol is not something I'm shedding a tear for. So.
But it's not what music is. So the only competition I have is the one that I had with myself yesterday and the one I'll have with myself again tomorrow.
That's fantastic. Well, one thing I don't know, I read up a lot about you, is when's the new album coming out and what's it going to be called? Do you know?
Yeah. So the new album comes out, actually, I think, was it the 19th today? It comes out in exactly a month.
Awesome.
And it's called Phase.
Phase, okay. You have hidden this information very well.
We announced it kind of recently, and it's been doing the rounds, and people are starting to pick up on it now, which is really good.
Maybe at my Google skills, it's quite possible. Guys, thanks for coming out today. I think this is one of those times you'll be able to say, oh, I saw that guy then. And one more round here for Jack Garratt. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Can I get everyone's attention? We have a photographer here. Jack will pose for pictures, and he's already pre-signed some really nifty 5x7s which you'll get when you leave. So
Yeah.
if we could maybe